Greetings, all you Jacks and Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger. This is the first real game breakdown that matters. It's the first week of the regular season. We've already seen the defending champs kind of get stomped at home by the Buffalo Bills. But we're here to talk about. You guys excited?
Woo! Oh, it's been a long off season, but I'm ready for week one. Laskers, how about you?
I'm definitely ready for week one, but Gingy, you're smelling the turf smell that really doesn't smell like cut grass, like you get in the baseball season, but I'm good with it. We're smelling some interesting smells.
Yeah, it kind of smells like Acrisure in here.
Well, unfortunately, that is not where the game is going down this week. We're going to be playing at Cincinnati. I'd like to start off the weeks now with a little bit of the history breakdown of these teams. I think that's something we're going to start doing every week. So let's go. Bengals, all-time record. Steelers are 67-38 against the Bengals. That includes the 2-0 in the playoffs. And on the road, since that's what we care about, the Steelers are 33-20 against the Bengals. Not quite as good as they are at home, but they did games against them on the road, so that's nice. The biggest win in the season series goes to Pittsburgh. They won 24-10, and then the last time we met them at Cincinnati, the 41-10 blowout, where I believe Joe Mixon was a whopping 4 yards short of 200 yards at like 5 yards a carry. So that's the season history. This year going to be something different, or is the continued success of the Cincinnati Bengals something that's going to happen? That's what we're here to find out. Gingy, Laskers, guys got anything you want to point out? Anything you're looking
Is the Steelers' offensive line unit and the Steelers' front seven versus Joe Mixon in the run game. I think that a lot of the Bengals' offense is really predicated off of establishing him in the run game, allowing some of those, the Higginses and the Chases out there to get some separation, get some opening. So we really got to watch that up front, and we got to make sure that our new boy, Mitch Trubisky, out there has some opportunity to make some connections. It's not even. We haven't even kicked off week one yet. You haven't even seen what Mitchell can do.
Kenny.
Well, but those are the units I think that we gotta be watching.
Healthy matchup, so neither team really bringing injuries that are going to be a concern into this. Little scare for the Steelers on Thursday with Chuck Okorafor missing a practice due to a back injury on Thursday. Not a good thing you want to see, but he's a full participant today on Friday, so that's a little bit better. But offensive lineman being hurt like that's a little scary. And when you consider all things, Chuck's has been the best and most consistent lineman we have, so losing him would be a big damper on things.
I'd say he's probably the best pass protector on that unit.
No doubt about it. Laskers, what matchups are you looking forward to this weekend?
100% we gotta shut down Joe Mixon. We cannot allow over 100 yards. That almost 200-yard game, that's ridiculous. We can't allow that kind of stuff. We have to shut him down. And the problem is that when he runs for that much, it opens up so many other opportunities for them. We just got to shut him down.
It does. It does. I'm a little disappointed here that neither one of you mentioned Tyler Boyd. How dare we not mention the Pitt product
the
playing there in the
Bungles,
slot?
Donkey. It's the Bungles. How much how much love we gonna try to show them? Not much.
It's that Pitt thing.
This is your defending AFC
I
Super
forgot.
Bowl
There's
representative.
homerism being going on here. Thanks for reminding me, Laskers.
Yes, yes, there is. But when you look at the Bengals up front, big improvement on that offensive line. Collins out there at right tackle. The Bengals, one of their biggest weak points was the offensive line last year, and they completely the offensive line. All three of those guys are upgrades. They brought back Cordell Volson. Out. You talk Jamar Chase, the guy who burned us in the first game last year, and I said he was gonna, because T. Higgins is just the type of receiver who always gives the Steelers fits. He's like a more talented Chris Henry from back in the day with the Bengals. And Chris Henry was always the guy who gave us fits there with Hugh Spinzada and Ocho Stinko. Mm-hmm. You're talking Hayden Hurst is still out there. Drew Sample at tight end. Joe Burrow, is he going to take another step forward? If so, big scare for the Steelers. And then you got Mixon. You also have Samaje Perine and Chris Evans backing him up, who both are capable of carrying the ball a little bit. That offense is scary good, is it not? And the fact that they put up 24 the first time they played us and then 41 the second time, I'm not sure the Steelers really have what it takes to slow them down early in the season. What I'm hoping for, since Joe Burrow didn't play the preseason, maybe we get an opener like we got last year where Josh Allen just wasn't on, and even though receivers were open, they weren't getting hit. And by hit, I mean completed passes, not hit by defenders here. I kind of confused myself when I said that. If Joe Burrow's off, I think the Steelers might have a chance. If Joe Burrow's on, I don't see how the Steelers have a chance. The bigger question is, Gingy, do you see a world where we actually stop the run?
I do, and it's because of our defense can take big swings. Now, they can be big swings and misses, or they can be home runs. A little interesting this week. I think there's a little bit of bad blood in this game. I heard there was comments made by the wide receivers after last year's game that the Steelers quit on the game. Minkah Fitzpatrick taking a bit of offense on that. Mentioned that during this week's interviews. Seemed a little frustrated. Has a bit of chip on his shoulder. If we go out there and the Defensive Player of the Year reigns, and he does what he does, trying to match 22.5 sacks, Joe Burrow might be under some duress. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm saying if we have a path to victory, that's going to have to be part of the equation.
I got an honest question for you, Gingy. You watched that game last year, that 41-10 game. Do you really feel like the Steelers didn't mail it in that whole second half? Because I got to admit, they didn't look like they cared.
I'm not going to attest. I'm not in that locker room, Donkey, but there's one thing I wouldn't do, and that's probably challenge Minkah Fitzpatrick to his face. Not certain I would engage in that type of behavior.
He's probably one of the few Steelers that wouldn't just make me run and curl the other way, because he's not that big of a dude. Is he bigger than me? Hell yeah. Would he beat the shit out of me? Hell yeah. But, he's not 300 pounds like Cam Hayward, Gingy. He's not that scary. Come on.
Nah, he'll lay some wood, though.
I just wish he'd learn to wrap up, okay? If he learns to wrap up, I could be happy.
Say that, okay? He does lay wood. Sometimes he lays right into the air. Whew. Right by him.
Fair. All right, so Laskers, we're going to get ahead and we're going to let you get into this offensive side of the ball. Steelers, new playmaker in George Pickens, new backup running back in Jaylen Warren. Offensive line's a lot of the same, except Dotson's moved over to starting at guard. We brought in Mason Cole and Daniels. But I want to point over to this Bengals defense and see if you see where a weakness is. Because this was a defense that was good last year. They lost Ogunjobi in the middle, which I believe is DJ Reader now is a starter. Because I believe BJ Hill was the one who was starting beside him in the tackles. But you're talking two guys who get at the quarterback pretty good, and Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. The middle with Reader and BJ Hill has been pretty good. Jermaine Pratt, he's an okay inside linebacker. Davis Gaither is probably the weakest point, in my opinion, on this team at linebacker. Anyone who listens to this podcast knows I love Logan Wilson. He's a good tackler. He can cover. Logan Wilson is the kind of linebacker I wish the Steelers had, and hey, maybe we have it finally in Miles Jack. Don't know, not gonna say.
We do have that line.
Always been that way his career, former first-round pick out of Ohio State. You got Chidi Awuzie, who is just a monster out there on the outside. You put Mike Hilton in the slot. We're Steelers fans. We know what Mike Hilton can do. We've seen it too well. And then two pretty strong safeties in Von Bell and Jesse Bates III. Where do you attack this Bengals team if you're the Steelers?
Right up front with Najee.
JG, shush it! This is Lasker's time to shine!
It's not going to be easy. It's got to be a Najee show, but it's still going to be a tough grind. I don't know. We need some push from the O-line that really hasn't got any better than what we had last year. And it's going to be tough to see if he can actually do it.
Is this the Najee from the second game who had 8 carries for 23 yards, or the Najee from the first game that had 14 carries for 40 yards last year?
I hope it's neither of those because those numbers just aren't very good. I hope it's Najee with 10 carries for 100 yards. That would be a lot better.
I hear you. I just, watching the way the Steelers offensive line played this preseason, watching Najee this preseason, I just don't feel like Najee is going to be where the answer is. I feel if we have a chance, someone's going to have to step up big, Gingy, and it's someone who you mentioned. Oh, wait, Mitch Trubisky's a starter. Sorry. It's going to have to be Mitch Trubisky. He is going to have to make passes, in my opinion. Do we have a receiver that is a matchup nightmare? I mean, you have Chase Claypool. He's a man-child. You have Deontay Johnson. He's great in there. But the thing is, who might be a breakout player for this game.
Player.
That's a fair one, going to third receiver. I was thinking more of the big white kid out of Penn State, Pat Freiermuth. If the Steelers are to beat a good defense, normally the weaknesses for good defenses are good tight ends. This is his chance to step up. This is his chance to showcase. And let's not forget, Trubisky likes to throw the ball to the tight end. He did when he was in Chicago. This could be a match made in heaven, Gingy.
I agree. I agree with you, Donkey. I'm real. That'll be the question. So yeah, definitely looking. Trubisky has to step up, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm naysaying that Kenny chant right now, but it ain't gonna be quiet forever. I don't think Trubisky has a very long leash or a lot of patience here in this opportunity. I think he's gonna have to produce and produce now.
Speaking of which, anyone making anything of the quote-unquote clerical error by the Steelers where at the beginning of the week they still had Mason Rudolph as quarterback number 2?
No, nothing at all.
Per Mike Tomlin, that is a notified about that occurrence.
I think we did a pretty good job of covering this game. Let's talk before we get into the Steelers-Bengals X Factors, because I would like to end the dealio with that. Let's talk about other AFC North games, because, hey, that's what we're here to do. And we got your Cleveland Browns starting the season at the Carolina Panthers with homeboy Baker getting a chance at the old team. What do you guys think will happen there? Words are hard.
Starting out the season, I think the Panthers are a more dynamic roster. And especially on offense, Christian McCaffrey plus Baker Mayfield might really be a problem down there if everyone could stay healthy and they can keep enough points off the board. Really, in Cleveland, you're going to wonder if they're pulling out the barbecues and having a big side of brisket over there. And if he is performing well, that can go either way, but I do believe the Carolina Panthers are going to take that game.
Laskers, what you feeling?
Oh, I'm 100% with Gingy. I really think that the Panthers are going to take that game. I mean, that was such a big mistake for the Browns to get rid of Baker. I mean, yeah, he's had some troubles, but let's go to a quarterback that can't play.
They didn't want any challenge when their quarterback came back after 11-game suspension. I get why you get rid of Baker, because you don't want Baker to go like 10-1 and then create a controversy after you just gave
Donkey, the Jets are right for the picking. What do they got going on up there?
Hey, they got Zach Wilson, man.
Well, I think the Ravens got Lamar Jackson.
He's like a real life Stifler from American Pie. He makes all the girls go crazy. Come on now.
I don't know what's going to go on down there in Ravens land. Lamar's got never been impressed with his ability to really pass the football in big situations accurately. I think they're going to take game 1 versus the Jets simply because, from what I've seen, the Jets aren't going to put up much of a fight anywhere. Could be wrong, not only week 1, but I think that's the Ravens handily.
I hear you on that. Laskers, what you like in that game?
Oh, I'm definitely going the Ravens. I mean, I just can't see the Jets and Jets actually putting anything up that's going to make any difference.
I hear you on that. I'm going Ravens all the way. You have to remember this Ravens team went healthy last year. And by the way, when I say when healthy, I mean without any running backs that were on their original roster. When healthy, we're the 1 seed in the AFC until Lamar Jackson got hurt. Lamar Jackson's healthy, running backs healthy, offensive line healthy, defense healthy. I just don't like the Jets to begin with. And you're talking a team that's a contender for everything in the AFC and the Ravens. Got to take the Ravens there. Pretty handily, too, I might say. So that leads us to the Steelers-Bengals. Obviously, when you give me this prediction, I need a score to go with it, and I need your X factor for the game. Laskers, let's start with you on this. What's your prediction for how this Steelers-Bengals opener of the year goes?
17-14 Steelers, and my X factor is George Pickens. He's got to put up because we've already talked about it. We know everyone else is going to be covered.
I like it. J.
I'm pretty much with Laskers on that one. They've got to keep this low scoring. We aren't. I do not believe the Steelers' offense is going to be anywhere near competing in a shootout. So I'm calling Pittsburgh Steelers 16-13.
And your X Factor, Gingy.
Looking at the person who I picked last week, should believe that to get that offense rolling, everything's going to be running through him with a new quarterback back there. Going to need, like you said in the podcast, the tight end. Going to need a tight end safety blanket. Going to need a strong running back. Najee Harris this week. I'm calling 120 all-purpose.
I don't think we get the luck of a turned off quarterback. I think this is 34-10 Cincinnati Bengals. I think the X factors are the Steelers' offensive tackles, and you're going to see why I was complaining the whole offseason that we didn't address it. You have two good pass rushers coming from the Bengals. You have two turnstiles at offensive tackle. That's a little mean to Chucks. Chucks is a good pass blocker. But you have a complete turnstile over there in Dan Moore. He was getting burned all preseason by number twos who aren't even good. Some of the guys that burned him didn't even make the roster. I just don't see how the defending Super Bowl team goes down here to Pittsburgh and runs into this. I don't think the Steelers, if you watch the preseason, are ready to stop the run. I don't think we slow down Joe Mixon. I don't think we slow down Trey Hendrickson. And I think it's just a long day that ends with even the Bengals fans going, Kenny, Kenny, Kenny. Because the only touchdown is a fourth quarter relief touchdown by Kenny Pickett. Now, let's end on some happy notes. Who knows? I could be wrong. I'm really hoping the Steelers do come out and win, do something special. I hope Trubisky shows out. Based off last year, based off what I've seen the last 3 times we played them, which, by the way, I believe involves losing to them with a backup freaking quarterback. I can't bet on this team beating that team right now. I think the Bengals took a big step forward this year. I feel the Steelers took a little step forward. I do still think 10-7 is the record. I still think we're going to be better. I just don't think it happens week 1, boys.
We shall see. I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to take the obvious pick. Shout out to Josh Allen balling out on Thursday night. Coming off, looking real hot out there. Making the bandwagon pick Bills look even more enticing and more bandwagony.
Fair.
Shout out.
I really don't have a good one, but I'm actually going to go sort of in the same game, but, Gabriel Davis threw out a good game for being the number 2, number 3 receiver in that game.
Helping the fantasy team out, baby!
Yeah, exactly. And the bad part is I didn't actually play him, and he's on my team. Yeah, I really should have played him because I considered playing him over Deontay because Deontay is still questionable for the Steelers game. But I'm also going to say shout out to TJ. We need you to step up this week and stop the run.
Woo. I guess that leads us to the donkey. My shout out has nothing to do with football. My shout out has to do with the sad, sad news that the second highest roller coaster in the world, the Top Fuel Dragster, is being shut down for good. Oh, man. The Cedar Point days, the memories, the going super fast up a huge hill. It is no longer a thing, and it's a sad, somber moment, so I got to give my shout out to the 19 successful years of the Top Fuel Dragster.
Here, here.
I guess we're at that point. To let you know, I am the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger is a YouTube channel. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, leave us a follow. Leave us your picks so I can judge you like you judge me. And with that, let's send it over to Laskers.
I am the Laskers everywhere, and since now it's time for some real football, wave them if you got them. I know Gingy's going to say the same thing.
Go!
But over to Gingy.
Getting me hyped, Laskers. Talking about waving them and getting them. Oh my gosh, you got to settle down on that. That might be for next week. You might be able to start off next week like that, but we ain't going to talk like that right now. Jackson Jennings, we are hanging out. Daily Dose Donkey with Ginger. And, folks,
new star, baby. Let's go.
We are getting into a new season of football. Folks, get your favorite snacks. Get your favorite beverages. It's AFC North ball. If you're not excited, there's something wrong with you. Everybody, I've been warning you for weeks. Hope you're ready. Wave them if you got them. Here we go, Steelers.